Hello, in this second video, we will read a target segment report from SRDS/Claritas 360. So in the previous video, I walked you through how to create the target segment report. And in this video, we will access and read the report. Now these bullet points will be available to you in your classroom so that you can follow the steps to access the report. Let me get out of here, and we want to exit the slideshow. And now back in Claritas 360, remember we went to My Jobs, which is this little briefcase with a check mark, and as you can see, these are all of the reports that have been run by anyone at JWU within the last 24 hours because we all share one account. Now, this is the most recent one at the top. It says completed, but usually right away it will say in progress, and it just takes a few minutes to run the report. I am going to click on the first report that I ran, the Target Segment Measure Report. You click on it and the Excel document will open. The first thing to notice is that when it opens, it's just going to look like all of this, wow, that's a lot going on here. These are just all the different profiles that I chose to look at. I chose landed gentry was my target. And then I wanted to know, all of these sort of beliefs and interests. It also tells us, so we looked at the social group, just the information about the report at the bottom. But we want to look at the table view. And now this is where we get into the data, which I think it's the pretty cool stuff. So in this, we have our rows. The rows tell us what the different profiles are. For example, what are they reading in the newspaper? Are they reading, the movie listings, the local news section, business and finance? I also wanted to know, some of their sort of psychographic information. Is food a comfort to me? And you'll see it's usually the answers are agree. They agree that they use social media to support causes, or they, disagree. So those are the different, remember, profiles that we chose. Now, also, beyond the psychographics, I also wanted to look at, so we really have just so many psychographics, which is really cool. And I just wanted to show you, what was available, but you don't have to choose every single one. If you have an idea of what you want to know, then you can, pick and choose that. I also wanted to know what magazines and newspapers they were looking at. So this is telling us it's both the print and the digital, so this can tell you where's a good place to, put an advertisement. We have Country Living, so all of these different magazines. Now, I would just ignore this profile list because this is sort of like the base, the larger population that we're running on. But what we want to look is these columns that say landed gentry. So remember, we were looking at 05, which was the country squires. So, what we're looking at, so here is an example. Why don't we look at Cosmopolitan? Out of 100 households of landed gentry, only, let's see, what were they really looking at? 16 of those 100 landed gentry households are reading the business finance section. Costco Connection, 34 out of 100 households. That's actually, quite a good amount. That's 10% of the total count of the landed gentry are looking at the Costco Connection. 9% are looking at Bloomberg Business Week. Okay, so these columns are important, but really when we're looking at this kind of data, we want to look at the index. This index goes from what is base 100, where 100 is just like average American consumer behavior. Any number in the index above 100 means that this target is, so here landed gentry is more likely than the average American to engage in the behavior. So we have 164 is the index for the Condé Nast, I never know how to say that, Condé Nast Traveler, okay? So this means that they are, and we usually say in percentages, 64% more likely than the average American to read Condé Nast Traveler. Again, we could go back to the Costco connection. The landed gentry segment are 54% more likely than the average American to read Costco connection. Okay, so now we're going to look at what about numbers below 100? Well, that usually if the number is below 100, it means that they're less likely than the average American to engage in that behavior. And this behavior is reading the weekday comics section. So landed gentry are 11%, right? Because that's 11 points less than 100, so we say 11%. 11% less likely than the average American to read the comics section. If the landed gentry is your target segment, you probably don't want to put an advertisement in a weekday newspaper comic section because they may not see it. Okay, so does that make sense? You just always look for that index section in your report, and that is going to show you if your segment is likely or not likely to engage in the behavior being this profile list that you've chosen from your reports.